which will now move in the state hearse, and ending in London for the Queen and her time. This is where so much of the public phase of her era was played out for us all. The national anthem is played for the Queen in London for the last time. The hearse moves towards the arch that will take it into Hyde Park, allow it into Hyde Park, where it will drive through the park, then rejoin the road and take the A4 to her home at Windsor Castle, and the finale of her funeral and the committal. The King's car drives into the place that was occupied a few moments ago by the gun carriage carrying his mother. He will leave. The national anthem will be played for him too, and follow with the family, his sister and brothers, his children, to Windsor. And the police motorbikes are ahead of the hearse in Hyde Park now. There is a gravity and a solemnity that has returned in these last moments, a silence which seems incompatible with the vast numbers of military personnel here, and yet is utterly appropriate. King saluting from the car as he was driven away from Wellington Arch and into the streets of London, not into Hyde Park, from where he will make his way to Windsor to be reunited with the coffin bearing his mother, and where later this afternoon at 4 o'clock the service will take place in St George's Chapel, followed by a private committal in the crypt, where the Queen's parents and many of her antecedents lie buried. The air here is now crisp, the sun is shining. There is a magnificence to this scene, but of course a sadness that everyone has felt. Everything that has gone now falls on the King who has just left. The capital has said its last farewell to the Queen. Leaders, of course, from around the world, as we've seen and heard, have watched her go. They've touched the history of which she was a product and a part. And no doubt they've remembered personal encounters and acknowledged the national story as well. But the journey, as we listen to some music that she loved, the Welsh tune usually translated as David of the White Rock, the Isle of Beauty, the Minstrel Boy, we'll hear Holst's music in what is usually rendered as I've out thee my country, Jerusalem, of course, and Supreme Sacrifice. An appropriate soundtrack, if you like, for this last personal journey which has begun. The poem says, the paths of glory lead but to the grave. And quietly this city will now begin to empty after hours in which it found a way to be silent for 2 minutes and let time stop, which seldom happens. After a funeral that brought colour and ceremony to the streets, and the bands sounded their farewell, as they still do, in slightly more cheerful mood now. The King has followed the late Queen, his mother, out of London. His own farewell to her will come later. But the crowds that have filled London today have said their goodbye. And in a way, the city itself, too. The reign of Elizabeth II becomes, in these moments now, a memory. Not just here, but in every corner of the kingdom. A story in which today's funeral is another